Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging Journey podcast, where we explore the strange and unusual experiences of growing up in time in various systems, as well as provide a safe space for diverse role players to explore aging and other lived experiences, unite diverse communities, and decrease social isolation through online gameplay. Today, I have Static Pan, Lynn, and Benji playing a Kids Campin campaign. I am your GM, TanyaLashea. You can catch this game and other games just like it on our YouTube channel. Our socials and content warnings will be in the description of this video. Just a reminder that this is a live recording of our regular episode, so assume chaos. We are going to go ahead into the intro, but before we do that, I do want to just remind everyone that the Kids Campin campaign that we are playing, Kids Campin is actually a custom game that I created that is based off of a highly modified version of Kids on Brooms. And so just a reminder, Kids on Brooms is a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and D20 system where dice explode. So all of our players have the same type of stats, the fight, flight, brains, brawn, charm, and grit. And they have different modifiers that go with those stats. So this isn't D&D or COC or anything like that. This is technically Kids on Brooms, but Kids Campin. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we are going to get straight into the game. So we hope you enjoy. All right. Welcome back to Happy Camper episode 2. Let's go ahead and get our campers up here. So last episode, we started off listening to a bedtime story of a goddess who walked upon a world named Hypharon before there was life on that world, and she gave magic. We then watched our happy campers get ready for their first day of a 2-week sleepaway camp. We met Dr. Helmuth, the camp director, Mr. Elf, the assistant director, and Miss Angelique, the beautiful but mysterious nurse, who seemed to know all about you guys' secrets. You all were then assigned to your tents. You met your counselor, Mickey, and everyone had a wonderful first day. But at night, with the other campers fast asleep, a whistle blew through the camp. Low and long, but loud enough for our campers to hear. During your investigation of the owner of this sound, Ebb tried to use a magical amulet and got herself trapped in it. And the campers met the creature that lives in the forest on the edge of the camp, a creature who seemed to long for companionship but was ran off by Juniper. And just as you all were finally able to free Ebb and return to the campsite exhausted, your heads hit the pillow, your eyes closed, you are woken by a loud horn that rings out across the entire camp through the PA system. And you hear your counselor Mickey's voice. Rise and shine, happy campers. Let's get this day started. And you kind of hear all the other campers beginning to wake up and get their self ready for the day. So just a reminder, all of you have a -1 to your grit. And you will have that until you have rested at some point. So make sure that that is marked. The camp is now open, and you guys are free to wake up, talk with one another, and wait until Mickey asks you all to come so that you guys can probably go to the mess hall for breakfast.
I think Gianna hears the loud noise and then just lays in bed and says, I am not a happy camper.
I don't think Juniper wakes up at all. I think she slept through that completely.
Nice.
I think Hayden, there's just kind of a quiet groan that's clearly drowned out by the bugle. So he kind of just grabs his pillow and just like puts it over his face and just attempts to try and get even just a couple more minutes.
Nice. Ebb, what are you doing?
Ebb is clearly still asleep.
Yeah, if you're saying something, we can't hear you.
No,
Nope.
we cannot hear you, Pan. Oh no,
We
Ebb's
just heard
on the
you.
necklace. She went back.
We just heard you a second ago. As you are all waking up, let's say that before Mickey gets to your tent, you can kind of hear her making her rounds though. Before she gets to your tent, this is probably going to be the only time you guys have before she comes in and has you all go somewhere public to have a private conversation, even half asleep.
Okay, we need to get our story straight. When she asks why we're so tired, do we tell her about whatever that was in the woods?
No. I mean, it's first day. They're probably just going to deny it's there anyways.
Okay, cool.
Juni just snores. She's not awake.
I mean,
Do you think if we just like put a sign on the door that said like quarantine sleeping campers only, she would go away?
I mean, we can always maybe see if mentioning those weird sponge things Juni talked about would throw her off long enough.
Oh, yeah. Gianna's gonna like throw one of her spare pillows at Juni's bed and try and hit her.
Nice.
I think the first, assuming you may throw another one, first pillow doesn't move at all.
Excellent. Take 2 points of damage. No, just
Wow.
Wow.
I think it does make her funny, but
Oh no.
I think it would wake. What's your rabbit's name again?
oh, dang, where is that? I wrote it down somewhere, and I don't remember where. Oh, there it is. His name is Professor Hopalodigus.
Amazing.
Okay.
What a fancy bunny.
Mm.
Hey,
You got it.
bam.
He has a bow tie and wears glasses.
Yay.
I think he is right next to you on your bed, also kind of like dead sleep, like on his side, fully knocked out. You guys sleep very similarly. However, he doesn't like pillows hitting him. So if a pillow does cross him, he'll pop up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bunny. That wasn't for you. Juni, wake up. You have to distract Mickey with your weird sponges so we can sleep more.
Guys, I got a thing.
What?
And I'm just gonna take Sploop out of his hiding place, and I'm gonna just scoot him over to the door and just have him scream at the door, because that's what he does.
Okay.
Amazing.
You all hear Mickey go to one camp that's like right next to you guys. The one that's across from you all, you hear her go to that one. You hear campers, groggy voices, getting up, rolling over, coming out of their tents, tired. But they are all doing that. And then Mickey gets to your guys's. You are screaming as soon as she probably just opens up the tent, or you're having your familiar scream. I'm gonna roll grit to see how she takes that. And she's just a counselor, so they all got the same stats. Let's see. So let's say DC is, it's a little guy, not too scary. But how loud is the scream?
He's little, so I don't think it's super loud. He's a fish. So
okay. We'll make the DC 2. I don't know why she would be scared off by that. So let's see. She's rolling
ugly.
She's rolling a D10. D10.
Oh, good.
Here's a D8. Oh my gosh, she got a 1.
Yes!
Amazing.
That would happen. She opens up the tent, and just like everybody else, she goes, "Good morning, campers." And as she's kind of opening it up, just a little bit, just to kind of peek in, instead of just screaming, she kind of gets a wet mud slipper face to her face, and she fully freaks out as it attaches to her face like a leech. And she falls backward, and she's just screaming, "Oh my god, as
he is a very buff fish.
As the flaps close. So you guys will have a couple more minutes as she collects herself.
I'm gonna snuggle back into my swimming pool.
Immediately tries to go back to sleep.
Yep.
A few minutes pass, and she's back in there. This time, not as sweet.
No.
And she's holding your familiar in her hand, Ebb.
Sploop.
Is this yours?
Oh, Sploop. Looks like you had a lovely morning. What a good fish boy. Just gonna take him and put him in my beak.
Yeah, she gives it to you. All right, campers, let's get up and get ready for the day. Who's excited?
5 more minutes.
Just pull my blanket over my head.
Her eye twitches a little bit, and you all see a wand appear behind her back. Let's try this again. Who's excited? And she whips her wand. And I need everyone to make a grit roll. Grit's gonna be Easy's gonna be. She's quite older than you guys. I'm gonna say it's a 10.
Oh no,
Sorry,
I
not
have
a
a
good roll.
-1.
I got a 4.
That's a 0.
Oh no.
That's a 2.
Don't forget you all have a -1.
Yeah, that's why it's a 0.
I got a 3.
Excellent. She swishes her wand, and you all stand out of bed to attention, as well as your familiars, as if you weren't even tired. You're still deadly tired, but you are now fully up, out of bed, in your pajamas, standing there. And she just looks at you and smiles. She goes, "Lovely. Now, we're going to go to the bathroom. We're going to wash our teeth. We're going to brush our hair. We're going to get ready for the day, and we're going to have a great breakfast, right?" And she nods yes, and you all mimic her, and you cannot control yourselves. And she goes, "Perfect. Out you go." And she whips her wand again, and you all file out, single filed, one behind the other.
Can we talk?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As I walk past her, I'm just gonna under my breath, "You're a bad lady. Bad lady."
She just kind of watches you all go out smiling. And then she leaves that behind you, and she goes over to the next camp to get them up. You kind of see around you as you're all marching to the bathrooms that there are the majority of campers are going of their own volition, but there are a few who are also kind of in that like dead stare, can't stop themselves from walking, who also clearly didn't want to get up this morning. But we'll say that you all are able to get into the bathrooms, you brush your hair, you wash your teeth, you put on some clothes for the day. And then you are already outside of the bathrooms as Mickey comes back around to take you all to the mess hall. And at this point, I'll go ahead and put up the map so that we know where everybody is. So a reminder that you all are at campsite C with Mickey and all of the other campers that is under her, and then you guys are going to make your way to the mess hall, which is in your area where all of the campsites are. But it's a few minutes walk. It's like a 4-minute walk across just a regular plain grassy area to what looks to be a really old building. Almost, you would almost call it a ruin, except for it does look like it's been maintained. But it is fairly large. It has several floors, and you can see many other children, some of them a little bit more awake than others, all being filed into this building where essentially it's just a huge mess hall. There are a bunch of tables, and there's nothing but just a huge ceiling up above, kind of. The ceiling's a little torn in, but it'll catch the rain if it starts to rain. And then on either side of the hall are windows where you can look into like the kitchens as they put out big old things of food. This is the exact same situation that you had at dinner. And so you can see like big old like steel pans of food coming out, and then counselors are grabbing them and putting them on the table. And so your camp C, you all have a table that you all sit at with Mickey, who sits at the head of the table. And that is where you all are seated at breakfast. You can sit wherever you'd like, but breakfast will take only, about 40 minutes. And so breakfast will be brought, you guys will eat, and then you'll go on with your schedule. So if you'd like to do anything, now would be the time while you're all together.
Hey, Ebb.
Huh?
That necklace you have.
Yeah.
Can I take a nap in it?
Well, I mean, I could try to put you back in the necklace, but as we saw, my aim is not very good. So you might end up in the necklace, but also Juni might end up in the necklace, or maybe that counselor over there, or maybe me or Sploop, or so if you'd like me to try, sure.
I mean, I would like to take a nap. Juni, would you be mad if you accidentally ended up in the necklace and could also take a nap?
I guess I wouldn't be mad, but I am curious as to what it's like in there.
It's a little cramped, but like It's fine.
Wait, it's cramped for you.
Yeah, it was meant for like voices.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
I'm feeling kind of awake now, to
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
am a
So
little bit more invigorated. I think table
yeah,
that or shelf that or
yeah.
whatever.
I think
We'll
I'll be. Yeah,
we'll
you
think
should
about it.
just
Maybe not
call your
now.
person.
Kind of long legs, you know.
Yeah.
What are you all eating for breakfast? What did you grab from the table?
I am eating mostly fruits and then passing some to Galileo, who is hanging off my back.
Okay.
I think Juni definitely made a makeshift sandwich of some kind. You know, like where you take a biscuit and then you just like stuff some stuff in it,
Mhm.
and then gave her bunny some fruits and veggies.
Excellent.
I'm having a breakfast of bugs.
Mhm. Are they still
'Cause-
alive, I'm assuming?
Preferably,
Oh, yeah.
but they
Um,
don't have to be.
your
And
breakfast isn't like on the table for everyone to grab, but you are given a plate. If you ca In fact, you're given a plate that has like saran wrap on it, and it like has your name on it.
great, and I'll split it with Sploop.
Perfect.
I just kind of put them on the table next to the plate, and we just both kind of like pick our favorites.
And Hayden, what are you eating?
I think Hayden's grabbed a kind of like those old like cereal commercials where it was like part of like your daily balanced breakfast, where it's like that kind of just wide variety of stuff.
Mhm.
Is kind of what he's set up in front of him, and then just occasionally slipping a couple extra just like pieces of bacon down to Argos in between eating and trying not to fall asleep there at the table.
Okay. You are slipping pieces of bacon to Argos, and you're pretty familiar, obviously, with your familiar and what they feel like. And the next piece of bacon you slip down there, a different note, animal's nose, kind of gets to your hand and licks up the bacon from it.
Just kind of blinks for a second and just like a little more awake, having felt that, and just kind of just peeks under the table.
You see Argos. He's still like sitting there, kind of like looking at you. But sitting right next to him is basically a pot-bellied pig, but like in miniature. So a miniature pot-bellied pig. And they're literally just sitting next to each other by your feet. And they've both actually been like each taking a piece of bacon every time you give him.
A pig ate bacon?
Mm-hmm.
Cannibal.
That's what pigs eat. They'll eat anything, including
will.
bacon.
That's true. Same as chickens.
Yep.
I must be friends with this pig.
That's my thing. Even he just kind of looks at Argos, is to the benefit they kind of have the two-way communication between them. He's just like, well, at least one of us has already made a friend here.
Can I hear that?
You can try. Are you trying to hide it?
No, I want to.
No,
No,
is Hayden trying to hide it? That he said that under his breath.
It wasn't even out loud. He genuinely, like, that's one of the advantages they took, to where he actually has two-way psychic communication with Argos.
No. So you won't be able to hear it. You can try. Anyone can try to like catch this interaction. If you want to roll charm and tell me how you're interacting with Hayden, or just looking under the table, like how you're trying to figure out what's going on here.
I'll try it. Why not?
Okay. It's going to be Hayden versus, well, who's that? Juni?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you guys stare each other down for friendship. Go ahead and both run roll a charm, and it's going to be opposing rolls.
I'll let Benji go first.
So that is a 6.
And an 18.
Oh wow. Not only does she clearly see it, but it's 5 over. So Judy, what do you want to see here as you look over to try and determine what's happening between Hayden and what's going on under the table?
I think I see Hayden first. You know, instead of like in the conversation we were having about like the necklace and stuff, that he was looking under the table. And so I look under the table and I see the miniature pig and the dog both sharing like bacon and stuff. And I think she goes, "Oh, that's so cute. It's like making friends on the first day, like us."
And I say that as it is, almost kind of momentarily catches Hayden off guard hearing that. It's like, yeah, kind of. I mean, to be fair, can't be friends with someone you face down a camp monster with on the first night. I mean, who would you consider a friend at that point?
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys saved me from a crazy necklace.
That we did. So 2 things that brought us together. So, friends.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys think the whistle thing was like a ghost?
It was that. I mean, it was a thing. It was a creature.
Whatever it was. And she like whispers because she realizes that they're at a table with other people. I mean, whatever was staring at us was making that noise. Right?
Yeah. It was like whistling and like lonely.
They can control fog?
Yeah. I don't think I've read about any of these. Have you guys?
Well, next to me, I went to public school.
Oh, that's right.
You can't keep using that as an excuse for everything.
Use it as an excuse for anything yet. Okay, you guys are the ones that used it as an excuse for like not knowing what like the sponge things were.
I still think there's a good chance you made that up.
Just you.
Yeah.
That's not real.
It's so weird.
And this isn't?
Well, no. I mean, it's like a little weird, but that's just because I'm from the ocean. So, like, I don't have, like, walking things.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of exciting if it is actually a creature. I haven't read about it, which I feel like I probably should have, given, you know, my family. Actually, do you think they notice if I skipped whatever class I'm supposed to be taking next and did some research?
Probably.
I mean, it's first day, probably.
Yeah.
You can always say you got lost.
Why don't you just ask somebody?
Ask them
What
about
about
the weird
downtime?
whistling creature in the woods.
Yeah, I'll like, for example, like I can go up to like, you know, somebody that may know about this kind of thing. And I let them know that I had a really weird nightmare last night where I was in some woods somewhere, right? And I saw this creature that did like really weird things and it whistles and it had like glowing eyes and controlled fog. What do you think that means?
Yeah, I bet maybe there's like a local legend or something.
Oh, your brother's a counselor here, Ebb. You could pretend he told you a scary story.
True.
Or, I don't know, could you just ask your brother? Would he know?
Maybe, but he's also only been here for like a week or two.
They probably don't
But I
cover
can
that in,
try.
like, How to Be a Camp Counselor 101, do they?
I mean, I feel like ghost stories is part of being a camp counselor, but I don't know if they teach you that or if the other camp counselors teach you that. But I can ask. I could see him at downtime today.
Yeah. If you ask him and Juni finds someone to ask about her weird dream, that might give us something to go on.
Hayden, are you still feeding the two animals under the table?
At this point, I will say he has probably stopped because, yeah, even he finds it a little weird to be feeding a pig bacon.
You hear Argos eating something.
And once again, yeah, he's looking under the table.
Under the table is Argos. He has another strip of bacon, although you didn't give him this one. Next to him is the new friend, the miniature potbelly pig, who's also eating another strip of bacon. And now sitting cross-legged in between them is a little girl. She is still wearing her pajamas, and she is kind of covered in like filth head to toe. And she has a big old plate of only greasy bacon. And she's also eating that bacon. And as you look under the table, she just kind of starts to eat the bacon. And it's clear that she looks at you, like gets eye contact with you. And she goes, "What are you guys talking about?" And it's clear she's heard everything you guys have been whispering to one another.
Just kind of.
Is she
He
a
just kinda
lot
just,
younger
like,
than us?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's probably about like 7, 8.
just kind of slowly straightens his back up, looks at the others, and just kind of trying to subtly indicate under the table.
Ebb not subtly looks underneath the table.
You also see this little girl. She kind of turns over to you. She has like a fistful of bacon that she's shoving in her mouth. And she's like, "Hi. I was just sitting here listening."
Hi. Who are you in camp with us?
She laughs, but she doesn't answer your question.
Okay. Hey, have you seen any weird stuff around camp?
She's kind of finished eating her handful of bacon and goes in for another. "Oh yeah, there's like so many weird things going on here. I heard you guys talking about the Whistle Man in the woods, and he's pretty creepy, huh?"
Yeah. What's his deal?
Well, and she takes her whole plate and she kind of crawls out. And who are you sitting next to, Ebb?
I guess I was probably sitting next to Gia because she asked me to put her in a necklace.
Okay. She pops up right almost on Gia's lap. Like she's trying to pop up from underneath the table and she's like in between you two. And she just kind of pushes her plate of huge bacon on the top of Gia's food because she can't really see. And then she kind of just like tries to get herself up. But there's not a chair for her. So she's kind of like on half of your chair, a little bit of Gia's lap, and halfway on the table as she just makes herself comfortable.
Oh,
Mhm.
I like her.
hi. This is fine.
Hi, I'm Cinder. I live here.
All the
Like-
time?
In the
Yeah.
cafeteria?
But she doesn't answer your question.
Is anyone else at the table realizing this?
I'm going to say it depends. Let me have everybody actually know. Juniper looked under the table. Ebb looked under the table. Hayden looked under the table. So, Gianna, you roll me a grit. DC is going to be 10.
Awesome. Someday I'll create a character that actually has grit. But today's not that day because I rolled a 1 and I have a -1 to it.
Wow, a 0.
So, and I don't have my broom. So that's a 0.
Gianna, you definitely like feel that something is like coming up from under the table, and you can see a plate of bacon literally smush your food, but you don't see a person. Junie, Hayden, and Ebb, you all three of you see this small child.
Do I feel the small child on my lap?
Oh yeah, you're very confused.
Is there, you all see the bacon, right?
You don't see the kid.
There's,
Yeah, you don't see the.
that's what's sitting
There's-
on me. It's a kid.
That's a kid.
There's like
Yes.
a whole ass person on your lap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like reach out to where I think like the kid might be and try and poke it. Do I feel anything?
Yeah. Also, you poke like the little side of her head, and she just giggles.
Is it,
You don't hear her though.
is this like I feel like I'm poking something?
It feels like you're poking a head of a person. It feels like it's an invisible person.
Yeah, I think Gia's just gonna like stop poking her and just sit at the table and be like, I hate this place. I said I didn't want to come, and now I'm here, and there's a small invisible child that eats a lot of bacon sitting on my lap. Okay.
What? But Gia, you like have a bat as like your familiar? What? This seems like right up your whole gothish thing. No? Why?
Yeah. Bats are not inherently gothic. Look at his beautiful and cute puppy of the sky face.
He is pretty adorable.
But also, you know what? Ghost child. Hi, good morning. You squashed my strawberries.
Ebb asked her a question, and so she is not really paying attention to anyone else. She's still kind of getting herself comfortable in this really uncomfortable situation space. As she's still like nibbling on the bacon. And she kind of just looks over at Ebb. The whistle man, we call him. Pretty creepy.
Are you the whistle man?
Fair assumption at this point.
She giggles. Like, no, he's a monster. I'm not a monster. Silly.
But you're invisible.
She climbs back under the table real quick. And she does the exact same thing where she kind of squeezes in between both of you, but this time in her arms is the pot-bellied pig. And Gianna, as soon as you see the pig, you see the girl.
And are they both on my lap now?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And the pig is digging into the plate of bacon.
Okay. This is... Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
She kind of brings the pig up. This is Belle.
Hi, Belle.
Why is his name Belle?
He ate a bell once a couple years ago, and it never came out.
Does he ring?
She kind of jiggles him in her arms, and instead of squealing like a pig, you hear the toll of like little jingle bells.
I love him so much.
Is this you guys' first year here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've been here for 3 years already.
Like
That's why I get
consecutively,
Mm-hmm.
like you're here for the whole year, or
Yeah, I live here.
oh,
Are you... Does everyone know you live here?
She kind of shrugs her shoulders.
Do you have, like, parents here?
Yeah,
Are
of
you,
course.
Alive.
What?
Okay, that's rude. You can't just ask someone if they're alive.
She kind of giggled again.
Cool.
You guys are funny.
how?
I'm Cinder.
Hi, Cinder. Who were your parents?
The chef.
The chef.
Yeah. She kind of points over at the kitchens.
Does the chef live here year-round?
Yeah, of course. We all do.
Like, the whole staff?
No. She kind of brings the pig up to her. Are you guys going to go back to the forest?
Well, probably not anytime soon.
I mean, unless you think we should.
I don't know. You could, and if you did, you could maybe bring me along.
How old are you?
14.
That's rude to ask someone's age. Gia.
Yeah, well, at least I'm not asking if she's dead, Ebb.
I'm super old.
Yeah. Okay, 14 is
Okay.
not super old.
You've been 14 for how many years?
Basically ancient.
Okay, you can't come.
What?
Wait a second. Okay, everybody, just hang on a second. Cinder, it would, again, so nice to meet you. It would be great and really helpful if you could tell us what you know about the camp and how long you've been 14 years old.
Well, she kind of looks up. Go ahead and make a charm roll.
Yay.
DC is going to be 5.
My best stat. Good enough for me. That's an 8.
that passes. She's not 14. She just figured that would be the age she would need to be for you to take her to the forest.
Gotcha. I figured because she was tiny that maybe she wouldn't be 14, but I didn't want to judge.
Yeah. So she just goes, well, and she kind of looks up. I've been 14 for 70 years.
Oh, 70 years.
A
That's a lot of
new vampire.
years.
She kind of
What?
giggles. No.
Okay, so not a vampire, not a ghost.
Is she? Does she look like she's taller or shorter than Ebb?
Oh, she is. Well, Ebb's really short, even though Ebb's like 11.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
really short.
So they're actually about the same size.
Dang.
Yeah. She has. I'll say she's been sitting here for a while now, and I would say that if anyone looks over it, you all like just happens to glance around and look in your direction. One of you or any of you can give me a brains roll to try to like catch how people are reacting to whatever they think they're seeing.
Oh, they're gonna think we're crazy.
I'll take a
DC's
shot
gonna
at
Oh, I got it.
be DC's gonna be 8.
I'll roll that.
I'm not gonna try.
That's a 9. Do I? Oh, and 10 with from my. Oh, my wand gives me a +1, so 10.
Okay.
I got a 7, but I'll let Gia take it.
It's a 15.
Does the? It's only if you roll the like highest number on the die you use. Like the
Correct.
+1 from magic doesn't make it explode.
Correct.
Okay, 10.
So you can all, I think you can all kind of tell, except maybe Ebb, who's not really paying attention to everyone else looking at your direction, that you're kind of seeing that most of them are paying attention to their own things. They're all talking, they're laughing, they're having a good time. And once in a while, someone will glance over in you guys' direction and they will see first the pig, they'll see Belle, and then they will see Cinder, and some of them will go, "Oh, okay, weird," but then they'll like kind of look away, like, "Okay, weird camper that I didn't notice was at the table." But I think you all had really good high rolls, particularly who had the 15.
Yep, I did. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, so Hayden got the 15. I will say that Hayden, you particularly can kind of tell that there's some sort of magic surrounding Cinder that is tied to Belle, particularly in terms of like whether people can see her or not.
So why aren't we taking Cinder with us? She's been here this whole time. I feel like she could like show us places.
Oh yeah, I know the whole camp.
What kind of places can you show us?
Ooh,
Well,
get us into the office.
the office? You mean the main office?
I think so. Isn't that where your guys' brooms are?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
She says loudly, "You guys are trying to get your brooms?"
Hey,
I'm gonna like, put my hand over her mouth. Okay, nod if you promise to use your super secret voice when you're speaking, okay?
She nods.
Take my hand away.
I don't know where the brooms are, but I know where they keep the magic chains.
I'm
so
sorry.
what?
What?
Yeah, they're in Dr. Helmuth's office. I've been in there. I've seen them. They're on the walls. They're
What
like
do they-
magical.
What do they use magic chains for?
She kind of looks up, trying to remember why the magic chains are important. It's something about a lock, I think, or you can wear them to do something. She kind of starts fidgeting, and now she's starting to lose interest in this conversation and starts playing with the pig and eating bacon. So, when are you going to the forest?
I mean, we can't just run off during the day.
Well, you don't want to go at night
Why not?
because of the whistle man.
What?
It wasn't
You
that mean. He was mostly lonely.
The whistle man whistles.
Okay. Beyond whistling, what does he do?
Well, the whistles, do the thing to your brain.
Do you
What?
only know about the creature in the woods because of our conversation that we were having?
She giggles. No.
I'm
Wait,
starting to
what?
think that's a yes.
Wait, what does it do to your brain?
It makes you whistle. And whistling's bad. If I can
That's what it is.
whistle, I haven't learned how to whistle yet.
Me either.
It's the
And
pig.
she like holds her hands up for a high five to this small child.
She doesn't see it. She's looking at the bacon and then looking at other things.
Hey, so she like high fives herself.
Wow. Juni got left hanging by like a 4-year-old.
Yeah,
I'm not 4. I'm older than 4.
So somewhere between 4 and at your grave
70.
at 14.
She giggles again.
Wonderful.
At this point, the pig starts to wriggle out of her hands and goes back under the table, and she follows it, just popping up just for her with her hands to grab her plate of bacon, and it disappears underneath the table.
Wait, Cinder. If we will take you into the forest, will you sneak us into the office?
As she takes her seat back on the floor and is about to enjoy the rest of her bacon, you all hear Mickey stand up. All right, guys, it's time to clean up. All right, everyone, grab your plates. Everything needs to go in the trash. And she's just like calling out campers to make sure that they are taking their plates and they're getting up. And she kind of starts to say you guys' names. Juni, let's go. We're leaving. Gia, grab your plates. Everything into the crash bags. We don't want to leave a mess. And everyone begins to get up and get ready to leave. Underneath the table, as you try to coax Cinder, go ahead and make a charm roll.
Okay.
DC is going to be 10.
10. Okay. I think I have a +1, 2. Yes, I do. Okay. I got an 8 + 1 is a 9. Did you say it's a 10?
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend an adversity token to get it up to a 10.
Okay. As you're saying this to her, trying to coax her out, she kind of gives you a piece of bacon, and she goes, "Yes, I want to go to the forest. If I go to the forest, I show you the chains."
Ooh, deal.
Deal.
And I give her a bug.
She takes the bug and eats it.
Yes.
She then spits it out and goes, "That's not bacon."
No, it's like bacon of the ground. I don't know. And I think it tastes good.
No. She goes back to eating her bacon.
No.
Just like that disappointed. Oh.
Mickey comes around. Ebb, come on, we're leaving.
Okay.
Come on, come on, come on. Be excited, everyone. It's going to be such a great day. And you all kind of make your way out of the mess hall.
Again, as I'm walking past her, just under my breath, bad lady. So bad.
It is scorching hot already at 8 a.m. in the morning because you guys woke up super early for breakfast. And you're expected to start going to your activities. Juni, where are you supposed to be going in the morning? What's your first activity? Everybody pull up
I didn't
your
realize I was whatchamacallit.
thing. Show the map. This is an example of what their maps kind of look like. But there are several classes that they can choose. They chose the classes and put them in the different spots. And it's not necessarily on you take this class or you take this activity at 8 a.m. It's more whatever's happening in the early morning, late morning, early afternoon, late afternoon, evening. And then some of the requirements for their class schedules or their activity schedules was that they needed to have a downtime at least every other day. And then they need to be eating some sort of a meal so they can eat, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So this is the first day everyone was required to eat breakfast, but moving forward, they can kind of eat whenever they want. So this is an example of what their schedules look like. So Juni, where are you supposed to be?
I'm supposed to be at runic coding.
Runic coding. What stats are those? Is that for?
That is for. Where'd you go? There we go. Brains or bite? I chose brains. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Hayden, where are you supposed to be?
He's going to Echoes of the Past, which unfortunately is a grit course.
Oh no.
All right, grit for you. Gia, where are you supposed to be?
Is this our early morning or late morning one?
Early morning.
Dreamwalking, which is charm.
Excellent. That's going to be okay. And then Ebb.
My early morning is breakfast some more.
I was about to say, actually, yeah, for early morning, yeah, Hayden's, that's breakfast too.
Second breakfast. If you have breakfast for early morning, we'll say that you can just have downtime until your late morning.
Sweet.
Dope.
Okay, so Hayden, you actually have a little bit of downtime.
Yep.
Ebb, you have a little downtime. Gia and Juni, you two are supposed to be at your activity. You can kind of see that Mickey has a big old clipboard and she's sort of like going through each of your schedules that she does have a copy of, and she's sort of checking things off as she's calling out campers' names, make sure that they get to the right place, make sure they know where they're going. And so she looks over at you, Juni, and Hayden. All right, guys, who's excited? I see that you guys have your schedules all set. Do you need any help getting to where you need to go?
Yeah, where is Dreamwalking?
Runic coding?
Do I just get to go back to bed?
She smiles at you, and her smile goes really far up, where she's a young girl, but she already seems like she's getting like crow's feet for how much she has to smile so hard. And she's just big old smile, and she's just like, no, silly. You are going to go to your activity and you're going to learn and you're going to have fun, right? Great. So let's look at where you're supposed to be. So if you guys look at the map, the little icons basically tell you where your different classes or activities might be. And let me pull up the one that has the key actually so that we can all see it together, because I have a picture of it, but we'll pull that one up. It just makes it harder to see the full map with the key, so I don't have it up here. But let's see. Okay. So the green ones are the worldly ones, the little maroon ones are the adventure ones, and then the little hammer helmet that's purple are the STEM ones. So she is going to look at, basically, this is kind of her version of the map to tell her like where people should be going. And you said yours was grit. No, you said yours was brains. So you are going, so she kind of looks at the map and she kind of points over to, oh, actually, you are going to be taking this course over at the nurse's tent. Not inside, but it's going to be the training ground right outside of it. So it's going to be this one here, the nurse's tent, and then there's like a little STEM helmet thingy. So that is where you need to go. That's all the way across like the campus. So that's quite a walk for you, and you will have to go past the forest as well as the archery range. And so she just kind of points to the main road. You're just going to follow this all the way to the nurse's tent. You kind of stop there when you all checked in, so it should be pretty easy to get back to. And so that's where you're going, Juni. Mm-hmm. And then Gia, you are going to charm.
It's going to be a world one.
So then she looks at hers and she goes, oh, interesting. You know, actually, our charm teacher was having some issues this morning. So we did have to do a bit of a switcheroo. So you're actually going to go to the archery range. How fun. So that's actually just, again, on this main road. And you're going to see our kind of like substitute charm teacher for today, who's super nice.
Okay, so I'm dream walking at the archery range. That seems real safe.
Well, you won't be doing archery, right? You'll just be at the range. It's just a new location. And imagine all the things you could learn from, I don't know, ranged weapons and dreaming. She kind of just looks at you a little bit and she goes, just, you know, take every opportunity to learn while you're here, right?
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to learning what it feels like to get shot in the foot while I'm trying to have a nap. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Juni elbows Gia.
Ow. Okay, no, sorry. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to do something I didn't sign up for.
All right. Well, off you two go then. And she's just standing there watching you two.
Okay, off
Juni pulls Gia
go.
along.
I'm coming.
Bye, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
She looks back at Ebb. Hi, sweetheart. Are you having fun? Have you had a good breakfast?
Uh-huh.
That's great. Well, you two have a little bit of downtime, so feel free to, you know, look around camp or maybe go back to your tent and rearrange things or get yourself comfortable. Just make sure that you're at your next activity on time, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, you kids have fun. And she turns around and walks away.
Hayden! Do you want to either go find my brother and ask about the weird thing, or do you want to follow Cinder to wherever the frick she's going.
Let's go take a chance to find your brother.
Okay. I'm gonna look for anybody Flo's age and see if I can find Flo.
Okay. Most likely all of the counselors have like a schedule of where they need to be and what they need to be doing. So I think I put your brother working in the main office when you all got there. He was doing prep. So let's see. Let's say he's probably working like in the grounds, like just doing some odd work. Probably someplace in between the nurse's tent and the archery supply shack. And so you two are able to roam around as much as is allowable. If you want to ask one of the counselors because they're all kind of around the same age, but if you want to ask one of the counselors like where he is, you can probably find them as you guys make your way to that general direction.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to do that.
So you two are making your way to find your brother. Juni and Gia, I will say that you two get to where you're supposed to go unless you have somewhere else you'd like to stop off as you walk down this main road here to the archery range and the nurse's tent.
How close is the forest line from the path that we're walking on?
It's pretty far away.
Okay.
The forest lines the edge of camp. So when you guys were at the tents and you had to walk down to the edge of camp to get to the forest, that's why it took you so long. It took you guys a while to walk there and walk back, and that whole ordeal, so that took you all night. So that's kind of how far you are on the road.
Never mind then.
Yeah, achievable. Okay, so then we'll just say that you both make your way to the archery range, where who's at the archery range, did I say? Gia. Where Gia, you kind of see a bunch of other kids. They're kind of standing around waiting for the instructor. They're not in the archery range area, like where all of the supplies are. They're like right outside of it, just because they weren't able to go to whatever other location they were supposed to go to. So they're all kind of just chatting and talking amongst each other. And so we'll say that Juni kind of leaves you there.
As she's going, I'll kind of like wave at her and be like, probably see you soon when one of us gets shot with an arrow.
That's not what's gonna happen. Look, do you have lunch open?
I mean, I'm eating lunch today, yeah.
No, like, are you going to like lunch, like, I don't know, like early afternoonish, or like do you have like downtime late afternoonish or something?
I've got downtime this evening, and yeah, I'm going to lunch early afternoon.
Okay, great. I'll see you then. Have fun.
Okay, be careful with the nurse. Apparently she's weird.
And Juni, you make your way over to, again, not inside the nurse's office or even that, like, very close to the entrance, just right outside where you see other campers congregating. So we will come back to you, and really quickly we'll go to Gia, where you are waiting for your teacher, who does arrive, and everyone kind of looks over to them. This person is they have quite an odd look about them. They're very tall and thin, but they have like a bit of a stark gray hairstyle, like a big old pouffant. It seems odd because they're also wearing what you can only describe as like a floor-length velvet cape. It's an interesting. He's giving wizard drama teacher. It's
amazing.
Odd.
Love it. Here for it.
And it's also very obvious that he is an elf. He has elven ears, and he has very beautiful silver eyes. And he kind of comes up to all of you and just waits for a moment as you all stare at him. And then quickly, he kind of swashes his cape so that it falls behind him so that you can see that his outfit is basically kind of like black on black with boots and black pants and a black shirt, but it's like a peasant top situation. So he's really going for a look.
I love this man already. Continue.
And he just looks at all of you and he goes, I can tell already you are all perfect pupils. He's nodding at you all as if you should agree. But we are going to be working past perfection. Do you understand me? Nod. Yes? And everyone kind of nods. He puts his fingers together and puts them up to his lips. I will be your charm teacher. We are going to learn how to breathe through our souls together. All right? He points at a girl that's next to you, and she looks super nervous. She's not sure if she understood the assignment for signing up for this class. But he simply just points to her, and he just goes, I am assuming you have your wand. I'm assuming you have your books. Go ahead and recite something to me with passion now. And she's just like, and she kind of takes out a book that she has. This is something that you'll find really interesting because while you don't know this, but this is a handwritten book that has kind of silver lettering on the side. And it looks like it's probably from her family. And she starts reciting this beautiful ode to some sort of goddess of this world that is named Hypharon in this book. But she's doing it shakingly and she's kind of nervous, but she's reciting it. And it's really beautiful. But the teacher kind of stops her, just putting up a hand. No, that was horrible. Let's go to someone else. And he points to someone else. And he basically has you all do this exercise where he wants to hear you recite something with passion, with emotion, just to kind of see, like, almost get like a baseline of how you all are before you even do any type of activities together. And so then he points to you. Sweetheart, please do not disappoint me. You have something to recite?
I'm sure I can find something, but before I do, are you the charm teacher that we were having issues with earlier today, or was that supposed to be someone else?
Oh no, that was Daniel. Yes, no, he's dead. But he'll be back probably next week. Yes, so he's out at the moment. But you said you have something to recite. Let's hear it.
Okay, but you said Daniel's dead?
Yes. So let's move along. We don't have all day. We have short activity.
But he's going to be back.
Let's hear something be recited.
So, like, do you, I like, logistics-wise, do you get, like, bereavement for yourself when you die at camp, or?
He kind of laughs. He did not die at camp, you silly. No, people don't usually die at camp. They go missing quite a lot, but they don't die here.
Oh,
no.
well, where if they go missing but they don't die, where do they go?
Who knows? Who knows? And he's kind of like looking wistfully past you. Anyways, you have
how
something
do you know they're
to
not
decide.
dead?
Oh,
You know.
well,
So I'm just curious.
let's see if we can learn How to tell if someone's dead or not. And he takes out his wand and he does a beautiful enchantment. It's like a rendition of like some old, maybe like Shakespearean ode, and he does it masterfully and powerfully. And through his wand, it kind of creates like this beautiful silver fog all around him. And you kind of get to see a bit of a vision pop up of this person you've never seen before, but Daniel, who is dead. And you kind of see him like doing something off camp. He's, maybe he's bench pressing and it falls off or something like that.
God.
Something very unrelated. But then you also see him sitting on a slab, and you see a bunch of people around him in cloaks, basically breathing life into him, and him sitting up again.
Damn, Daniel.
And he goes, see? And he looks at you. Passion with the right words and good magic. And you'll know who's alive and who's dead.
Okay, no, that's a cool trick.
Now you try.
I think the only thing Gia would think to recite would be like, because she has a creature identification guide in her bag, and I think she would just flip to a random page and just read it.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll charm to see how powerfully you are able to read this with the passion that is required of you. DC, I think, well, no, it's not going to be contested. I can't tell if he likes you yet or not. So I think I'm just going to, yeah, I think he's in between. So I think I'm going to go with 8. DC's going to be 8. Not difficult, but not too easy.
That is an 11 plus 1, which brings it to a 12. And let's say she's reading a passage about the Mongolian death worm.
Okay. All of the other campers, he has so far been like, that passable, let's move on. No, that's horrible, let's move on. And he's listening to you, and he's just kind of nodding, just going, yes, that's good. And so you can kind of see him doing this as you're doing your performance. And when you're done, he just kind of slow claps. Very good. All right. Let's do some warm-ups. And then he kind of has you guys do a couple of exercises, both with your wand, but also with just like the power of charm. And you eventually do other activities throughout your day. But I will say that you've earned the respect of your charm teacher, Mr. Van Glow.
Amazing.
So we are now going to move over to Juni, who has made it to the nurse's tent. Juni, you are doing
runic coding.
brains.
Yeah.
You're doing a thing. And so you guys aren't inside of the nurse's tent. You're obviously right outside of it. But as you are all just standing there, coming out of the nurse's tent is the person who will be your teacher. And this is a very old woman. She's got to be like in her 80s, but she looks healthy. She's standing up straight. She's wearing kind of like combat boots and like comfortable, like not sweats, but like comfortable pants and a loose blouse. But she has a long science coat, white coat on, and she has these huge, big bottle coat like spectacles, and just a bunch of frizzy gray hair that's kind of wild and kind of going all in all directions. That's quite long, and she kind of busts out of the nurse's tent, and she looks at everyone. Hello, everyone. Who's excited for science? Crickets. Absolutely. As everyone kind of looks around.
I think Juni raises her hand.
She kind of points at you. Excellent. Follow me. And she turns around and goes back into the tent. As you all come in, the nurse's tent has been kind of changed to be basically a little laboratory. There are like literally a whole apothecary that you swear wasn't there last time you guys are in here. But there's also like beakers and little microscopes, and there's also like little cages that have small little reptiles and other type of mammals in them. You're not really sure what those are for, but they're just there. Miss Angelique is nowhere to be found. It looks like that this place is being used, as like a secondary place. She kind of lets everyone come in. Like, come in. Welcome to class, everyone. I am Dr. Zabulon, and I'm so excited to have you at camp for these next couple of weeks. I really hope you enjoy my class. I have been working on it now for 50 years. I have been focused on this transmutation, this new life that is permeating all of magic today, and it's fascinating stuff. She looks super excited, and she's kind of like moving her hands, and she's like looking wildly. Clearly, she's very attuned to the sciences of magic, and she's obviously well versed in it. So she kind of looks around at all of you. I would love to know what you're hoping to learn in today's class, and we'll go from there. I really think science comes from within. You have to love it. And she looks at you. What do you want?
Me. And she glances at her bunny familiar because her bunny wanted to take this class.
Yeah, he is fully taking notes. He's super excited.
Judy nudges him. She's like, what do I say? What do I say?
She sees you do that, and she kind of looks down. She goes, oh, he's adorable. I see both of you are into the sciences. That's so exciting.
Yes, it's so exciting. I've, don't really know how magic and science goes together, so that's interesting. I've only ever taken just science classes, so.
Oh, as soon as you say that out loud, all the other campers look at you, and she also looks at you. They're all kind of have their heads kind of like cocked a little bit. Oh, are you new to magic?
In a way, this is my first time at camp, so really interesting and exciting to be here. So,
Yes, it is. Well, welcome. Well, if you've only taken science classes, then this must be extra exciting because science and magic are intertwined in a lot of ways. We learn much of nature and the way the environment works around us in sciences. And those things are often fueled by spirits and in some cultures, goddesses. So welcome. Everyone, let's have a seat and let's just breathe in, some of the smog that I have permeating the tent right now, and just really deeply. This is a special blend of mine, completely non-toxic, 95%. And let's just sit down and really just get to know one another a little bit before we start class. And so there are still those little mushroom stems they had, but there are a lot of them now. And they all kind of sit down. And there is indeed a very thick smog that is kind of coming from the top of the tent and settling down onto the ground. And it looks like a greenish mist when it gets down to the ground. And it is kind of being funneled out of a bunch of beakers that are on fire on the side of the tent, on the inside. And she proceeds to talk about like herbal, like incantations and different ways that you guys can put things together to create something like this. And she also talks a lot about how this mist that she's created that settles down to the ground and turns into this fog, you know, has medicinal qualities, but it also has like mind numbing qualities, and that air and it's a whole science lesson as you guys learn about all of this. I will say that go ahead and roll brains as she talks to see if you gather anything of interest here.
I think I want to. I don't know if I can ask it during class, but I do want to ask her a question.
Of course.
Oh, my brains is the one.
Perfect. Go ahead and ask your question.
I just like raise my hand since we're talking about and she's what was her name again?
Zebulon. Dr. Zebulon.
Oh, Dr. Zebulon, I have a question. Because I don't really know necessarily all the things that fog can I guess react with magic and stuff. I was really curious, can fog like wrap around you in a sense that feels like it's alive?
Oh yes. She got her nods. I mean, all things in some capacity are alive, aren't they?
I guess I never really like thought about fog being alive. It's a state of matter, technically.
Well, let's take this for example, and she's kind of pointing at the slow falling dense fog. This is, while it may not be considered living, is teeming with itty bitty tiny microorganisms that are currently entering your body and kind of patching up dead cells, and then they will excrete themselves onto the ground and grow new life. That is something that's obviously alive, but it does have a life cycle of about 2 minutes. So
Juni's face scrunches when she says that. She did not like the sound of microorganisms coming into her body. And then going back into the ground. And she just like slowly puts her hand back down. She's like, got it.
But great question, Juni. Great question. Any other questions? And she's kind of just looking around to people to ask questions. What was your brains was a 1?
Yeah.
As this fog, really this like heavy, strange air that's also being condensed and then falling down to the ground, as it kind of goes around you, you don't feel like this is very similar to the fog from the forest, mainly because while it did move, it seemed to move with intention. This stuff, even though there's clearly microorganisms in them, it seems to be just falling. Like they're being excreted from the stuff she's pumping out, going up to the top of the tent and then falling down, you know, almost like if they were acting like rain. So that is all you kind of are able to glean there. Your class continues with you learning all types of weird things about infusing magical things with scientific things. And you also learn that Dr. Zebulon is an interesting scientist. She does a lot of interesting experiments that probably in like the human world would not get funded, right? Yeah, she'd probably be on a list, most likely. So she kind of brings those up randomly. And some of the students are kind of like, oh, that's interesting. But you, seeing as how you've been kind of in other worlds, you're kind of like, okay, well, that's not, I don't think that's legal. And so Gia and Juni, you guys conclude your classes in time and you move on to your next assignment. Meanwhile, Hayden and Ebb, you two were going to find your brother. You guys are muted. If you're saying something.
Yes, that is going to be correct.
Go ahead and let me actually roll just like a d4 to see who you find as you guys are walking, trying to find your brother. I'll say that as you guys kind of come around the corner and you're asking just random counselors as they walk past, like where your brother is, you finally, they kind of like send you to his area, and you finally find him, and he's talking to someone just like behind one of the buildings. But you can go up to him. Pan, you're muted. Or you're gone. What happened?
She's back in the necklace.
I feel like that's the excuse we always have to give.
Pan has left the building. Hayden, what are you doing?
Yeah. If anything, Hayden's kind of just also very used to with how he grew up and everything, seeing someone that technically isn't in an authority position just in a conversation of kind of just hanging back for a minute to let them finish, so as to not, break his own like habits and interrupt. But at the same point, kind of just like slowly just inching Ebb forward.
He is talking to another camper. You just can't really see the camper from where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a camper.
A camper or a counselor. It's not like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna tow Hayden behind me and go up to Flo.
Okay. As you both go up to him, and you see him talking, I want one of you to roll a brains. DC's gonna be, it's kind of obvious, 5.
I think it's you, Hayden.
All right, not a problem.
Ebb's empty brain.
So that's a 7.
Nice.
He is having a very close private conversation with a girl counselor behind a building where no one can see them.
Gasp.
But Ebb doesn't notice that.
Nope. Do you stop me?
No, I don't.
Yes. I fully come around the corner. Just like, hello, hi, I've been looking for you. And what are you? Gross.
He kind of stands up straight, and the girl that he's talking to also stands up straight as they kind of see you two come around the corner. And they quickly move away from one another, and he's kind of blushing. Ebb, hey, we were just talking. They look at each other, and she kind of starts walking away.
Okay, bye, nice other person. That definitely wasn't kissing my brother. Did you know lionfish are poisonous?
Why are you doing that? he continues to blush, and he just kind of goes over to you. What are you doing over here? Aren't you supposed to be in activity or something?
No, it's breakfast time. And I ate all my bugs. So I came over to you because there's a very important thing I have to ask you about. Have you heard any ghost stories of the camp, specifically about whistle people?
That's what you had to ask me?
Yes, it's very important.
He kind of looks over at the girl as she walks away. Ebb, I'm working.
Very important, Flo.
Okay.
I need to know this very important thing about monsters that are in the woods that have whistles, and it can't wait. Okay, I gotta
Okay.
know before
Okay.
downtime.
Okay. Yes, there is a legend of a creature in the woods, in the forest. Yes, but there are a bunch. There are lots of them. We tell lots of scary stories. They're just stories.
But that one,
So don't worry about it.
But what was it?
I don't know. It was I don't 100% remember. It was something about something that lures people into the woods with a whistle.
Wars happen in the woods with whistles?
No, it's when they trick you into coming closer to them with a sound, and the sound is a whistle.
But does he eat you, or is he cool?
I think that's just kind of the end of the story. It's like you go in there and you're never seen again, you know?
But what if they are seen again?
What do you mean?
Well, what if somebody went in the woods and saw the whistle man, and then they came out and they were fine?
Did you go in the woods and see the whistle man?
No, that's crazy.
Okay, so yes, because that was obviously a lie.
No.
Ebb.
And I didn't see anybody kissing some other girl earlier.
Okay. Look, that's all I know of the story. I didn't make up the story. I just heard it. Don't go in the woods by yourself, by the way. You'll get lost.
I didn't go by myself. It's fine.
What?
Nothing. So, did you hear this story from other camp counselors, or is there a lore book about camp?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of books in the main office. They have a library in there, but don't get too obsessed with the ghost stories. They're supposed to be scary and fun. Doesn't mean they're real.
But what if they are real?
But what if they're not real?
But what if they are real?
But what if they're not real?
But what if
Ebb.
I mean, Mom's like a myth to most people, but she lives with us.
He kind of looks over at Hayden and then looks back at you.
Oh, this is my friend Hayden, and he's like rich or something, and he's got a dog.
Okay, look, go, just have fun and do stuff with other campers. Looks like you've made a friend. That's great. Don't go looking for ghosts, myths, or stories. Just
okay. Hey, by the way, do you know anything about Mom's necklace that could help me point it better?
What?
Nothing. Okay, bye. I love you.
Wait, no. As you guys run away, he's just like, what? Jeez.
I'm definitely going to tell somebody about him making out with her.
As you both
did you
say
recognize the other camp counselor? You're like fancy and know people.
I mean, I didn't really see too well. I don't know. I'm not exactly the social one of my family.
But your family knows lots of people? Or just lots of people know you?
Some days I'm not even too sure which one it is.
Okay, Mr. Mysterious Boy.
I'll say at this point, as you guys are kind of having this conversation, Juni and Gia, you both get out of your activities. And I'll say, since you all have to get on the same road to walk back to the tents or walk to your next activity, I'll say that you both, as you're standing there talking, you see Juni start walking on the road, and you see Gia start walking on the road towards you guys.
Guys! Hi guys, how was class? Oh, by the way, there is a myth about a whistle guy, and it's boring.
Well, what is it?
That's it. There's a myth about a whistle guy, and that's pretty much it. He lures you into the world, and you're never seen again. But we were all seen again, so it's not really a good myth.
Can I see real quick before I join up with the group? Can I see if I made any friends during that class?
So this was the class just now where everyone learned that you are fairly new to magic.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead and roll charm. DC's going to be a 15.
Oh.
That's wonderful because I got a 20, which explodes.
Wow.
So that's going to be a I can't math all of a sudden 34.
Oh
Dang.
my god.
Damn.
Junie
made
has
all the
friends.
You all see Junie come out of her area with every single person in class kind of sitting, walking around her, walking behind her, walking in front of her. They want to know all about public school and non-magical things that she's learned and, what she's liking so far about being at camp, et cetera, et cetera. They're all super interested in everything she has to say. And you have made literally all of the friends. Everyone from that class is your friend.
I think as she's walking
no.
down the path with talking to these people, and she sees her cabin mates, she's like, no, really, it's these little sponges that when you put them in water, they turn into animals and stuff. It's really cool. Look, I'll tell you guys about it later, but I've got to meet up with my friends before I go to my next class. Okay, bye. And then she runs over, and she's just like, my class was great. How did you guys' things go?
Are you telling more people about those things?
About the what?
Those fake sponge things? What?
For people that deal with magic all the time, I would really think that you guys would have a little more imagination. Okay? They exist. They're real. You get them at a dollar store. You get 10 in a pack for $1.
Right. And I'm sure they're really cool and very useful.
They're kids' entertainment, like a little science experiment when you're poor. So she flips her hair a little bit. Anyway, my teacher, I think, is doing really illegal things.
Oh my god, did your teacher bring out the chains?
No. No. But I wouldn't put it against her that maybe she has some.
Dang. I found out that the charms teacher that I was supposed to have died. But he'll be back in a week.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, that happens.
Yeah. Apparently, bro did not do leg day and just, you gotta build the whole body up before you really lift those heavy weights.
Wait. So you will accept a teacher saying that your other teacher died, but they'll be back in a week, but you can't believe in sponges that turn into animals?
Because when I questioned him about that, he showed me Daniel dying and then him being resurrected by what I can only assume is a coven of necromancers.
Oh,
So yeah,
my gosh.
he brought proof. You didn't.
I'm gonna, it's okay.
Have your parents send you some in a care package or something.
No, it's not that important. She looks a little irritated, but she's hiding it behind a smile. That's all good. How did anybody else's stuff go?
Better than Daniel.
We found out that the Whistle Man is a myth and it's boring. It's fine.
I'm pretty sure it's not. We saw it.
The myth is that, like, you're never seen from again when he lures you in with his whistle, but we all are seen again, so we already are past the myth, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't say we got lured in. Quite really?
I mean, well, what if what we saw wasn't actually the Whistle Man? Like, the Whistle Man did try to lure us in, but then we met that big lonely thing instead. So then the Whistle Man went away.
No,
Maybe?
that doesn't sound right either, because when Ebb whistled, the creature came closer and also whistled.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe the whistle is just how he attracts, like, his species, and he's never been able to attract one of his species, and that's why he's lonely.
So a mating call.
Yes.
That doesn't explain why people that, like, so is he trying to lure one of his kind and then he doesn't, so he gets mad and, like, abducts the people who do come?
Or eats them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. All I know is, even with all the magic stuff, this camp is weird.
Wait, no, we
Yeah.
we never got back to, like, what illegal stuff was your teacher doing?
Yeah.
Well, Hayden, what about you?
Hayden came with me.
Mm.
Mostly, I drug him there.
We probably might have gotten more information out of her brother had she not basically tried to blackmail him.
You blackmailed
What?
your brother?
I
What?
feel like that was just necessary to get any information out of it.
What did you blackmail him with?
He was making out with somebody.
Did you see who?
I didn't recognize her.
Darn.
That's so cute. It's like they do in the movies, with all, like, the summer romances and stuff.
Oh, he also said that there are books about the camp myths in the main office.
Okay, so we've got to get into the main office.
Yeah. So we should definitely get with Cinder about that.
Right, but before that, really important.
Uh-huh.
Juniper, what did you do in class today? And how was it illegal?
Did you kill
That
someone?
anything? No, and I wouldn't do that. And it's crazy that death seems to be really normal around here. But anyway, we just sat amongst a bunch of shrooms, and there was, like, a fog, and apparently, tons of microorganisms are getting under my skin, and then they poop every, like, 4 minutes and then just die. And
Yeah.
Okay, so you got high.
Yeah.
What? No, we did not get high.
It's okay.
I mean,
No,
everyone trips sometimes in science class. It happens.
No,
Yeah.
what? No, it's
Yeah.
not normal to trip. It's not normal. She's like looking between you guys and like freaking out. She's like, it is not normal to trip in science class.
I mean,
Also, we didn't get high because like, not that I should know what that means, but I do, unfortunately, because I go to public school. Like if it was like high smoke, I feel like I would have had an asthma attack, and I didn't. So
Yeah, but
it's
this is
obvious.
this is magic high. Like we can avoid that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
smoke. It was like fog. It was like mist, like stuff.
I mean, so you're high off mist instead of smoke. That explains why your
Yeah.
asthma didn't kick off.
I am not high.
Mhm.
I am not high. I'm not high. I'm going to my next class. I'm not high. I'm not
look
high.
at my eyes. Look in my eyes.
I'm not.
And
Are her
Gia
eyeballs
kind of
huge?
like, lift Ebb up so that she can look into Juni's eyes.
It's like it's kind of like mesmerized. She does look at Ebb's eyes, like with wide, like a little bit panicky eyes.
Are her
Your
pupils
eyes-
huge?
Your eyes look fine. I will say that you guys have been kind of standing and walking around, but not actually going anywhere for quite some time while everyone else has been going to their next activity. So I'll say that if you do decide to go to your next activities, you are going to be late.
Oh no! I have cursed objects. I have to go.
Well,
And
yeah.
I run away.
Same here. I'm not answering any more illegal questions. I'm not high. I'm not high.
She's not
she
high. Her
runs.
eyeballs are fine.
You should definitely keep yelling that as you're running to your next class. No one will be suspicious.
As you guys split once again, Ebb, you are going to cursed objects. What is that stat?
I think it is grit. I want to double. Yes, grit.
Okay. And then Hayden, what is your next class?
For the late morning, that one is Echoes of the Past, and that's Grit.
Okay, you guys are going to the same teacher.
Ooh.
All right. And then Juni and Gia, where are you guys going?
I'm going to. You go first.
I'm going to Phantom Fencing, which is fight.
Me too.
Yay!
Let's go.
Tease you about being high the whole way there.
Helping you along and saying, I'm not high. I'm not high. Stop saying that. Stop saying that.
All right. According to your schedules, Gia and Juniper, you two are actually going to turn around to go back to go to the large arena but that's below the nurse's tent. And Ebb and Hayden, you two are going to go to what is that? Worldly or adventurer?
It's worldly.
You guys are going to go next to the forest. There is going to be that large tent. So you guys are actually going in the same direction. You just will split off when you guys get down to the bottom here. So you two are going to the arena and you two are going to the tent, and then you should be able to meet back up after your activities. But you all are going to be late. So Juni and Gia, you two actually arrive at the arena, and you can kind of already hear that there's something going on inside. You can actually hear like clanking of metal on metal. And so when you guys come in, you are going to be noticed. Do you want to try to sneak in, to charm your way in, to what are you trying to do? Or are you just walking in?
I would like to charm my way in, and I already know what I'm going to do. And I would like to convince Gia to play along with me.
Okay.
What you got?
Does everybody like look at us? Is there like a teacher that addresses us or anything?
So as you guys walk in, if you're going to go in the front, the arena is literally almost basically like essentially like a football stadium. So there is a grassy kind of not a grassy knoll, but a grass.
Oh, great! Now we're gonna get shot.
A grassy area in the middle, and then stadium seats. So you can kind of see that your class are like on the rim. They're not in the stadium seats. They're on like the front edge of the grass where the stadium begins. They're in like a half circle, while there is a woman standing in the middle of the grass so everyone can see her, and her back is to you because you're coming in the entrance. And you can hear clanging, but you don't see any people. You just hear clanging. And she's sort of like saying something that you can't really hear as you guys walk in. And that's kind of what you see when you walk in.
Gotcha. I mean, I guess we could just try to blend in and sit down. I mean, I don't want to go up to her and interrupt the class, but I have an excuse prepared.
It's whatever y'all want to do. Make your decision.
I think, Gia's inclination is just going to be to walk in and go sit down with the other people.
Yeah, I'll do that.
See what happens.
Okay. You guys walk in. At first, not many people see you, and her back is to you, but you guys kind of just try to like scoot over to the side to like sit down. And as you get closer, a couple of people see you and look over. They don't say anything, though. They just kind of scoot over and let you sit down. So I want both of you to roll flight. DC is going to be a 10.
Oh, okay.
Actually, let's make it an 8.
Oh, great.
Oh,
That's the right direction.
it's a better chance.
Yes, it is. That's a 6.
I got a 7. I'm going to use an adversity token.
Yeah, I'll spend some adversity to get that to an 8.
Okay, you both meet it. As you are now sitting with the other campers, you can now see that in front of this woman, this very tall and very almost regal woman, but she's also extremely like athletic. Like she's extremely like muscular, but not heavy muscle, more athletic. Like she's like a swimmer or an athlete. And she is wearing kind of like a 2-piece kind of flowy set that's just like a gray blue. And she also kind of has, she doesn't have a hair per se. It almost looks like fur maybe that's coming out of her head that kind of looks like hair. It's very interesting. But it is like jet black and it moves all on its own, even though there's no wind. But in front of her are 2 huge, like great swords. Like they're huge swords, but there's no one attached to them and they are fighting in midair. And she's sort of just explaining some of the moves that they're doing, and just making sure that people are paying attention to this demonstration. She does notice you come in. As she's like looking forward and explaining things, you see that like one of her eyes like looks over at both of you, but she doesn't say anything and goes back to explaining. Once she has done her demonstration, she kind of looks over at the rest of the class as the swords fall to the ground. Right, well, now that you understand what we're doing, let's have 2 of you pick up the swords and try your luck. No stabbing, no cutting off heads. Let's keep blood to a minimum, and oh, what the heck? I mean, this is a fun class. I want to be the cool teacher. So feel free to do a little bit of slicing, but keep it above the shoulders. Okay, let's have these 2 over here. And she just picks 2 random people, 2 random classmates. And they get up and they pick up these huge swords that they can barely like pick up because they're really heavy. And they both of these kids like pick these swords up and like they're barely holding them up because they're so heavy. And she's like, okay, so you want to channel your energy into the swords. This will help you lift them. Okay, so you need to focus, concentrate. She's just kind of giving them some pointers. One of them lifts up the sword that's really, really heavy, and he's pouring as much of his energy into it as possible. And you both hear a clang, and then one of the people screams as like their whole arm is chopped off accidentally. And the whole class kind of starts screaming as well, as you all see an arm fly off onto the grass. And the kid is just fully crying and freaking out. The teacher, though, does not look too upset. She's going to be like, all right, okay, everyone calm down. Let's just relax. Just a little wound. We'll get you patched up. And she goes over to him, and you see her. She's wearing gloves, like they're kind of like silky blue gray gloves, and she takes one off. And when she takes one off, you can kind of see that her whole hand is jet black, as if it's stained with ink. And she kind of puts her hand over the child's arm, and it grows back. Not painfully. He certainly does not enjoy the sensation, but it grows back nonetheless. And he sort of like stares at it wide-eyed and traumatized. And then she goes, oh, there you are, all fixed. Let's try that again, but just remember that we're going left to right? Remember the crisscross? Okay, let's practice the crisscross, but a little bit more carefully this time. And they both pick up the swords and try again. She does that for a couple of people, and she gets to you two. You two, the late ones, come on up.
Juni looks absolutely mortified. Everything we've seen so far. And she just very hesitantly gets up.
I think Gia just kind of like pats her shoulder, and it's like, look, I'm gonna do my best not to cut a limb off. Don't worry.
I'm gonna die.
You're not gonna die. It's gonna be fine.
You two stand in front of her and face each other. Now, I know you both came in late, and we're going to ignore it since it's your first day, but hopefully you have learned everything you need to learn within this first few minutes here, okay? So you're going to lift up the sword. You're going to channel in your fight energy, right? It should permeate the sword. You should feel it resonate within the steel, okay? And that means that you should be able to wield it carefully, all right? Now, wield it regardless of how careful it feels, because you are going to need to practice this, okay? So this is just practice. Have fun with it, practice, lift up the swords, try your best, all right? There's no one at fault here. Most people don't die in this. You should be fine. Okay, all right, swords up. You two pick up your swords. And I'm going to need contested fight rolls from both of you.
Amazing. Excuse
so bad for me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
That is. Do you want me to tell you what it is, or do you want to go first, Juni?
No, wait. I didn't even have this dice out.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you did better than me. So here we go.
I'll tell you, I do get a +1 to fight because of my wand.
That's so wonderful. I also get a +1 for a total of 2.
You got a nat 1?
Oh, contested fight. That's a D20? No.
Well, no.
What dice do I roll?
It's your fight roll. It's your fight dice.
Okay, I have a D4, so that's going to be a 2.
Mm-hmm. So you rolled a 1 and then you added a 1?
Yep.
Okay.
I did.
I rolled a 19.
Okay.
And I added a 1. So,
okay.
I'm so
Wow.
sorry.
Wait. And she goes, you see her start to like hyperventilate, and she puts down the sword, and she's like, I think I need to go to the nurse. I'm having an asthma attack.
Oh my god, Junie, I
Junie,
said I wouldn't cut any limbs off.
Junie, you try to put down the sword and realize that you can't. As soon as you both picked up the swords and channeled your energies in it to fight, the swords are going to make you fight whether you want to or not.
Oh my god.
So, as you're screaming, I think I need to go to the nurse's office and try to drop the sword, it still raises in your hand as you two go to do battle. Now, you can do one of two things. You can try to, like once you do that first hit, you can try to dodge essentially. So like get out of the way of anything that might be coming in your direction. Or you can try to just take whatever's coming to you. What do you want to do? That's going to be either a grit or a flight roll.
My grit is better than flight, but I really want to dodge. I think I'm gonna dodge.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your flight. It's again going to be contested. So you guys kind of like clink swords and nothing gets chopped off. It's just that the swords are now, they've interlocked with one another. And your teacher, who has not really introduced herself, but you've heard from the other people that her name is Gilda. And she's just like, good, that's good. And back up again, and another cross. And so your swords move away from one another, and they're going to go for another attack just for the swords, and they hit each other. And Gia, you're doing very well. Your form is perfect. You're able to hit the swords perfectly. You're actually able to really challenge through these great swords and attune with them really well. Junie, your sword is having a hard time. It's kind of shaking all over the place, and every time it goes down to hit the other sword, you close your eyes, so you don't actually see what's happening. But in the last time, when she goes, all right, and now let's practice a strike. So one goes back, one goes forward, and it's a jab, and go. Junie, go ahead and roll your flight. Gia, go ahead and roll your fight.
I'm going to regret this so much.
That's only a 17 this time.
I'm going to die.
For an 18 total.
Okay.
Not an 8.
Hey! You're getting better.
Junie, the sword goes up as you kind of come back down, but again, you kind of close your eyes as it comes back down. There is no clank this time because Gia has moved out of the way, and she, again, as instructed, goes for the jab. And this huge, great sword plunges into your sternum, out your back, and you feel an excruciating pain as you fall backwards, limp and lifeless. And then your eyes open, and Gilda is over you. All right, not bad. That was not bad. You did okay. Let's take a break, and we'll do some more later. But good job, everyone. All right, let's take 5. Let's get something to drink.
Junie does not move from the ground, and she just continues to look up at the sky.
Gia's gonna like go over to her and like offer her hand to be like, I'm sorry, but I also didn't take a limb.
I think I need to go home. I came here thinking it was going to be a fun experience learning about magic, and you know what? I don't think I'm cut out for this. And she just gets up on her own, and she's like, I think I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home. She starts walking out of the arena.
You go to the doors of the arena, and you try to open them, and they are locked.
I think she just puts her head against the door.
You both hear, I'm assuming, Gia, you're following her.
Yeah.
You both hear Gilda, like, let's stay in the arena, girls. We're just taking 5. And she kind of looks back over at the other campers.
I mean, yeah, no, magic's not fun, Juni. Like, it can be, but
No,
it's not.
That was
fun.
that was straight up cruel. That was straight up cruel. We're fighting with real swords. Real swords, real great swords. I'm 13 and a half. I'm 13 and a half years old. How the heck am I supposed to wield a great sword? I've only seen Cloud pick those up. From the video game that you probably haven't even heard of because you guys don't know anything about the real world. And I'm freaking out. I died. And this is crazy. Right? It's crazy. And she like shakes your shoulders. And she's like, I don't understand how I'm alive right now. I thought I could just and she takes out her wand. I think she's like, I thought I could just, wave this thing around and go Wingardium Leviosa or whatever. and things would be fine.
As you guys are taking your 5 minutes, we'll go over to Hayden and Ebb. As you guys enter your class late, are you wanting to just kind of walk in? Are you wanting to try to disguise being late? What are you guys doing?
I was just gonna come in completely out of breath, like I came as fast as I could. Oh my god, I have such little legs.
You all are in this huge, beautiful, it kind of looks like a clown's tent on the inside almost, because there are a lot of different types of things. There's a trapeze, there's a zip line, there's a little bouncy area. It looks like there's a bit of a complex obstacle course, but it's all painted brightly and fun. And and your classmates are all sitting on the ground. The ground is kind of like dirt and sand, just for to help with falling. And all your classmates are sitting on the ground, and standing in front of them, the person that turns around to see you both run in is a younger man. He's probably in his early 30s. He's wearing no shoes, just a regular leather vest and comfortable leather pants. And he kind of turns around and looks at you guys. Oh my gosh, welcome, you two. Come on in. There's plenty of room. No need to be stressed. It's all good vibes here. Come on in, please. Take a seat.
I run up to the front of the classroom to sit down. So excited about this class.
As you guys get closer, you realize that this person is very, very short. He's as you walk up to him, he's probably almost as short as you are. But another thing you notice is that he looks very familiar in the face, as you guys sit down. And even without rolling anything, Ebb, I think you can tell that this person looks very much in the face like Cinder. And in fact, the moment you two finally sit down, Hayden, you feel a familiar little tiny pig sit next to you.
Just kind of glances over as he's kind of gone to sit a little more toward the middle, if not toward the back, just because he is on the taller side. Just kind of sees the pig sit next to him, just kind of reaches over, just gently scratches it behind its ear.
It doesn't oink, of course. Instead, when it like is happy with you scratching its ear, you hear the jingle of a bell. And of course, that means Ebb, you hear it as well.
Is it Cinder, or is it just a relative?
Roll brains.
Oh no.
See what you think about this person. DC is gonna be 5.
I got a 3.
Okay. I mean, you don't know if they're family or not, but there's Cinder's pig is here, and this person looks very similar to Cinder. Could be Cinder in disguise. Who knows?
I'm just gonna narrow my eyes at them.
He kind of stands in front of everyone. My name is Mr. Tuffle. So great to see you all. And I really hope we're going to have a good couple of days together. This is all about the action. You know? It's all about surviving. You know, what happens after the battle? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I would love for each and every one of us to go around and just say something we're deeply, deeply afraid of. I'll go first, right? I have a very complicated relationship with my mother. Okay? And he proceeds to go a little too in depth about some of his personal fears of becoming his mother as he gets older. And he's kind of tearing up as he's talking about it. And then when he's done, he's like, oh, wow, that was so healing for me. So let's just go on let's start with you, young man. And he's pointing to you, Hayden. What would you say is your greatest fear? This is a safe space. We're all friends here. Tell us.
Hayden just kind of takes a second. I guess I'd have to say my biggest fear is myself. I am. And that I won't live up to everything I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Life's already seemed to mark a different path for me, with setting me apart from my family in ways that I didn't expect. And I suppose I'm still struggling with how to deal with it.
Wow. So powerful. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, young lady? And he's pointing to you, Ebb.
When are we gonna look at cursed items? Because I'm really afraid I'm not gonna see any cursed items in this class.
He just kind of looks at you and smiles. You know,
I'm not gonna see any, am I?
Because, you know, cursed objects are very dangerous, you know?
Yeah,
Well, you shouldn't be that excited. And the best way to learn to truly be able to control the accursed is to
Is
be
to
able to
play
have.
with them. What?
No, I was not going to say that. That wasn't what I was going for. No, I was going to say is to be able to have enough resistance in yourself to be able to wield them without being consumed by the curse. Was not going to. Interesting. Wow, you're a fun little gal. Let's go over the basic rules of what not to do with a cursed object, just because I feel like we need to do that. But I do want to get back to, talking about those fears. That's very important. The first thing a cursed object does is prey on your interpersonal fears, and so we really want to make sure that we have enough resistance before we even handle cursed objects, right? So let's go over the first rule. First rule of cursed objects, everybody, is we don't play with them. Okay, we don't play with cursed objects. Everyone, we don't play with cursed objects. That's right. Yes, we don't even want to have play and cursed objects in the same sentence, right? That's super dangerous. That's super dangerous. Second, we never want to wield a cursed object or even a magical object without knowing how it works. We would never do that, right? You could hurt yourself, you could hurt others, and we don't want that. Okay, so that's number 2. So we have 1 and 2. What do we think the third rule of cursed objects is? Anyone?
Take them home and study them?
Very close, very close. We actually don't want to take cursed objects into our homes as much as possible, just because they'll feed off of the negative energy there. But we do want to study them. So very close. Yes, the third goal is before you use any cursed object, you want to thoroughly study it. And that's what we're going to learn right after we learn this first one, which I was kind of in the middle of doing, which is how to build up resistance, right? So that if you get cursed by a cursed object, you can break out of it, because that can be difficult. So let's start that back up. I think we'll come back to you, Ebb. I think we'll come back to you last, and let's go over here. So he goes over to some other kids.
Hey, while he's doing that,
Sure.
can I sneak around the classroom and try to find some cursed objects?
Of course.
Yes.
There are tons. This is a cursed objects class. There are a bunch that are on like the wall. There are a bunch that are in cases. There are a bunch that are out for display that have like really detailed like field notes that you guys are going to study later. Is there anything in particular you're looking for? And if you're trying to look at them sneakily, we're going to need a flight.
Okay. Yes, I'm trying to look at them sneakily. And let's see. Trapping the whistle man in a necklace didn't work. So maybe we need something like a telephone to talk to him in his language. So something like a telephone.
Okay, you were looking for some sort of communication device. It seems like preferably it should be communication device with something that can't speak English. I'll say based on your interaction with it, you do know that it was able to communicate telepathically. That's how you knew it was lonely. So I'll say that you're looking for something like that. So this is how you're going to roll. First, you're going to roll your flight to see if you can do what you're doing as sneakily as possible. And then based on your flight, when you roll your brains, it'll tell me like how much you'll actually be able to know about this item based on how quick you're able to get it in your hands. So your flight for your DC is going to be pretty high because you are in class and he's going to be probably watching you after that whole interaction. Um, so I think your DC is going to be a 10.
Okay. I will roll. Oh, that's not bad. +1. Do I get a +1? I do get a +1. So that's a 9 + 1 is a 10.
Okay. You are able to kind of like, sneak off into the side areas and just take a look around. So go ahead and roll your brains just as you're like trying to quickly look at everything to try to determine if you can find something that will work for your needs. DC is going to be an 8.
No. Oh, but I did explode on a 4 and a
Okay.
1. So that's a 5.
Okay. You look around and you don't have that much time because he's going to eventually notice you, but you do look around and there are a bunch of stuff that have a lot of information attached to them, but a lot of it is like really long and you don't have time to read that. You just want to grab the thing that's for communication,
Yeah.
preferably of telepathic. So you're kind of looking for those words as you're like skimming all of this stuff. And you do find something that says telepathic something something. It doesn't say communication, but maybe you can use it for that. You're not really sure. It's actually a really beautiful silver ring that has a onyx gem set in it, and it's on display. And it's not covered, but it has like a big old tome next to it. It has like a little card on it that says something, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, a bunch of stuff. But maybe this will work.
Oh, what a pretty thing. Oh no, it fell in my boot. Okay, go back to class now.
Hayden, depending on what you'd like to do, you can try to notice this happening, or you can just focus on the class.
Given what this kind of class is for him, I'd like to think he's attempting to, actually pay attention. Because maybe he caught a little movement out of the corner of his eye, but for the most part, he is, trying to actually kind of focus.
Okay, go ahead and while you're actually learning something, go ahead and roll your brains to kind of just see what you soak up in this class. Actually, no, not your brains. Roll your grit.
Even better.
DC is going to be a 5.
Okay. Okay. So thankfully that is an 8 with the -1 brings it down to a 7, but I have a +1 from my magic, so that basically keeps it just at that 8.
An 8? Okay, well, you've met it. And you beat it a little bit. You learn from actually learn. So Ebb is gone doing things for quite some time as she's kind of looking around and trying to find what she's looking for. Meanwhile, you are actually learning what's going on here. You learn a couple of really important things about cursed objects. The very first thing you learn, other than the 3 rules that he talks to you about, is that your emotions are really important for how you control and understand what cursed objects can do. But it's not just for you, it's for other things. So, for instance, if a creature had a cursed object either put upon them or were holding one, their emotions would also feed the object, regardless of whether they had control over it. So you learn that. And that's kind of what you learn on in 3 over the 5. You also learn some good techniques for how to recenter yourself. He's going all over a lot of how to boost your grit in like certain situations, particularly when you have like cursed objects put upon you. He talks about like there's a whole process for like breaking curses that you guys will get into in future courses, et cetera, et cetera. It's all actually really interesting and would be very useful if, you know, particularly for Ebb, if she was paying attention. But you learn all of this information. And then before you guys know it, your class is over, and Mr. Tuffle, as you guys are like leaving, he goes, well, it was great having you two today. I hope you come back and you really enjoyed the class. And thank you for becoming, you know, mentors, I guess we could call it, of Cinder. She doesn't have many friends.
You do know Cinder.
He kind of smiles at you. Well, yes, she's my daughter, so yes.
He's a real person.
He kind of looks over at Hayden and then back at you. Yes, yeah, of course. All right, well, you kids enjoy the rest of your day. As you guys are making it out, we'll go back to Judy and Gia, who were on their 5 while you guys were in the middle of your class. And the 5 minutes, you know, eventually gets up. And you hear Gilda. All right, ladies, we're coming back together. And she looks at the rest of the class, expecting you both to walk over eventually.
So like they're not gonna let us out of this arena until class is done. Do you want to just sit by the door?
She just kind of has this 1,000-yard stare.
Oh, okay. Why don't you just come with me maybe and pet your familiar? I don't know. Gia's gonna kind of like take her arm and lead her back to the bleachers and like sit her down.
Oh, for sure. And I think her bunny also has the 1,000-yard stare.
Okay. She's gonna take Galileo off her back and kind of like wrap him around, like his wings around Juni's shoulders like a blanket,
like a shock blanket.
Uh-huh.
Gilda continues the class, and she's really talking a lot about channeling into like weapons, right? She's talking about how you can, you know, increase your own strength by doing that, how the weapon can then attune with you and can give you different strengths. And so she says that original like practice demonstration and then practice was just to kind of give you guys an idea of where you are, but now you can build upon it. And so then she kind of starts to point out people and have them come up, and they're by themselves, but they're simply learning how to like channel through the weapon. And so she does that to everyone until she gets to you two, and she looks to Juni. All right, darling, come on up. We'll give you the short sword, I think, for this one.
I think if Gia doesn't say anything, or if Juni doesn't say anything, Gia will.
Yes, Juni's really, she's just like not here.
Yeah, I think Gia would kind of be like, sorry, she goes to public school, so maybe she can just watch today.
Juni perks up because he's like, nope, I got it. And she snatches the short sword.
Gia maybe grinning a little bit behind her.
Gilda just kind of raises an eyebrow at you two, and she goes, okay. All right, so you want to use what you feel, right? So you're going to hold the sword, and you are going to command it to do what you want, right? So you want it to feel your magic, feel your power and give it back to you twofold, right? So push it in and allow it to come back to you. All right, let's practice this. As you do that, go ahead and what do we want? Roll your fight. DC is going to be, I think you're a bit bolstered, so we'll just do the DC at 6.
So you said roll what again?
Fight.
Fight.
Just think
Oh,
angry
so
public school
wonderful.
thought.
No,
Mhm.
she is like thinking in her mind, she's like, I'm so pissed off that I died. I died and it doesn't make any sense. Nothing here makes sense. So if nothing here makes sense, then I should be able to wield a sword like a video game character, obviously. So apparently that's all it takes is you just tell a sword what to do and then they do it. I rolled a 1 or a 2.
Oh no.
No.
Because my fight is a D4. I'm not a
So
fighter.
sorry.
I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter.
You just want to make friends.
I just came here to make friends.
As you pour this emotion and feeling into the sword, go ahead and roll a grit. DC is going to be, let's make it a 6 as well.
I guess I'll just roll it straight because I got a +1 and a -1. That's a 7.
Okay. You try to push this feeling into the sword, but what doesn't happen is it doesn't come back to you. So the sword, you can really feel it kind of vibrate and actually get hot with your magic, and you can see it go flowing into the sword, and the sword actually starts to glow. None of the other people who were doing this happened with. And Gilda is sort of like watching you, and she goes, very good, careful, as you're doing this. And then it starts to subside, like the glowing, and the sword is back to normal again. And Gilda goes, that was good. That was a good try. So excellent putting your magic into the sword, but it's the taking it back that's the hard part, right? So you want to push that energy that you are feeling, that emotion, but then you have to calm your mind to be able to take it back, right? That's the practice that needs to happen. Let's try
Calm
it
my
again.
mind. Calm my
Mhm.
mind. I just died. I died here. How do you expect me to be calm when I died? And I think she's like still channeling this anger into the sword.
Go ahead and roll a charm as you say that to Miss Gilda. DC is going to be a 10.
Okay. I got a 9, so I'm gonna use a adversity token to make it a 10.
Okay. As she hears you say this, and you're still holding the sword, but like you're clearly like too upset. In like a flash of light, before you can really even see it, she is very, very close to you. She's like right next to you, able to reach out and hold the sword for you while your hands are on it. And she does that, kind of like a sword master kind of teaching someone to wield the sword. And she just goes, and breathe. And as she says breathe, and you feel almost through her own calm breath, it kind of reverberates through your entire body into the sword, and you actually feel calm. And then she says, now try again. Go ahead and roll your fight. DC is now going to be a 4.
Why is the DC the highest roll on this? That's gonna be a 1 for a +1 for a 2 total.
you calm completely down, but now you don't have that fire that you needed to like push into the sword so that you could get it back. But she lets go of your hands and she goes, I feel like you are able to master one, but not the other. But this will take practice. This will take time. Keep your fire, practice your calm. Yes?
I think I need to go to the nurse's office.
She looks at you. What for?
I feel an asthma attack coming on.
Well, class is over. And the doors unlock.
He quickly leaves. Grabs her bunny and goes.
You all converge back outside of the tent and the arena.
Is Juni like...
Juni? Are you okay?
What happened?
I killed her.
What?
What?
Okay. We were just fencing. She's fine. I mean, she's not fine. But I did kill her for like 30 seconds.
Why?
I didn't mean to. I said I was sorry. It's magic. It's phantom fencing. There's only so much control you have over the swords, and I told her I wouldn't cut a limb off, and I didn't.
No, you decided to cut her life short for a half second.
I didn't decide to. The sword decided to.
Heal her?
Yeah, like immediately.
Oh. They don't do that in public school?
Apparently not.
You see Juni's just kind of back to like that 1,000-yard stare. But it's more calm than before because of whatever the teacher did. And she's just like, I think I think I'm gonna go get something to eat. And she just walks toward the mess hall.
Yeah, it's supposed to be my lunchtime too, but I feel like she's not gonna want to see me for a while. So, how was cursed objects?
Cinder's a real person.
Okay.
Because we met her dad.
Oh, what's he like?
Short and a hippie?
Weirdly, that tracks, yeah.
It does explain the pig and the general state of being of Cinder.
Yeah. Good class?
I think Hayden learned stuff.
Yes, at least I wasn't going around sneaking around the classroom.
He wasn't going to show us any of the cursed objects.
Well, isn't
Not like first day out the gate.
But why would you name it Cursed Objects Identification class if you're not going to identify cursed objects?
Fair
And
point.
I feel like step 1 of identifying cursed objects is to look at them. Also, his rules are dumb.
What are the rules?
I don't know, something about like not doing things with cursed objects and not having them at your house and like all the opposite things of like my house.
You know all the ways you're actually supposed to stay alive around cursed objects.
That's dumb.
This explains a lot about both of you, to be honest.
We'll say that you all make your way to your next classes or activities, the mess hall, and you go throughout the day. And you learn a variety of things, but it's first day, so the majority of you, unless you went to fight class, you didn't do much damage or really learn anything new, or get much practice in. And so it is later that day. How is Juni doing? What have you been up to throughout the day?
I think Juni spends most of her time contemplating if it was right for her to be here. And right now she doesn't feel like she felt like a little bit of an outsider before, but now she's just like, I may not be cut out for this. I don't know why it was recommended that I be here. Obviously, I'm not good enough to be here.
Mm. Do you go to try and see the nurse?
I think she does, because she did die, and she like just feels within her heart of hearts like something's got to be wrong. Something's still got to, like, there's no way I got stabbed in the chest and I'm perfectly fine.
You find some time in between at some point during the day when the nurse's office isn't being used as a substitute class. And it's been kind of reorganized to be the nurse's tent again. And you do find Miss Angelique, the very tall woman who has beautiful white wings. She is kind of in the back of her tent making what seems to be some sort of a tonic, and she's kind of heating it up over a burner as you walk in.
Hello?
You suspect she hears you come in, but she doesn't turn around. She just continues to work on her tonic. She's kind of humming to herself lightly.
Excuse me.
She looks over at you as you walk in. Juniper.
I think I need to call my parents and go home.
She picks up the tonic and pours it into a glass and pours another one into another glass and picks them both up. Have a seat. And she sits down. And she hands you one of the glasses. What's wrong?
She just kind of slowly sits down and just holds the glass in her hands, tapping on it. I died today.
Oh my. First time.
First time. There'll be other times.
She sort of sips on her tonic. As you're sitting there, go ahead and roll the grit. DC is going to be 15.
That's going to be a 2.
As she sips her tonic, without even thinking and really even realizing it, you just mimic her and sip yours. And she looks at you. Well, we would hope not, but the first time someone passes beyond the veil and comes back can be, well, I'm sure you can imagine, terrifying.
Yeah, I don't understand how I'm even still here.
She takes another sip, and again, mimicking her without even realizing it, you take another sip. Juni, I'm assuming you have a lot of thoughts about what magic looks like.
I have had a few thoughts of what magic looks like. Yes.
Perhaps sparkles and healing or pretty things sprouting from the ground.
I mean, not all the time, but I imagine that's what perhaps camp would have been like.
And it is. Of course, with all of the pretty things that sprout from the ground, something must lie down to feed it. There's balance in magic. And we tend to teach the hard parts of that balance first. Because the pretty parts are the fun parts, the easy parts. That's why not everyone can wield magic.
So, you guys plan to just kill off children?
Well, she takes another sip. You take another sip. No. I think your opponent was just better than you.
I think Juni's face just kind of falls a little bit. Not because she's not okay with someone being better than her, but it feels like it just reaffirmed that she isn't good enough.
Hmm. She sets her drink down. I could give you something to make you instantly better. You could walk out here right now and be the best at everything you want to be.
I mean, I'm not bad at everything. I just think that, there's some morally wrong things happening. Also, what was in this? What is this?
She ignores your question. I'm afraid you'll find morality to be complicated. This is a different world than you're used to.
So in this world, killing children is okay.
If you bring them back to life.
And what if I don't one day? I don't remember signing my life away.
Well, that won't happen here.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
Well, you could.
What do you mean?
If you have a question, you can find the answer.
Okay, where do I find the answer if not, I guess, people like you, the counselors, the people in charge?
You take another sip without realizing it again, and she just looks at you. Perhaps you're not ready. Maybe in time. Perhaps you should go. And maybe in a couple of years, perhaps you'll want to come back. You don't have to stay.
She frowns and is like, no, I'll stay. I'll survive whatever is going on here and change it. I think killing kids is wrong. And I am not bad at this.
She leans over the table, grabs the drink that you've been sipping, and sets it down next to her. I'm glad to hear it. Anything else?
Yes, what was that? What is that?
A light tonic, some ginger root, molasses. It's something I like to drink before eating dinner. Helps with digestion. Go ahead and you can roll something as she says that.
I would like to roll anything to figure out what just happened to me.
You can roll brains, or you can roll charm to see if you can say something that might give you more information.
I will gladly roll charm.
Okay.
Oh my god, the dice hate me today.
They really do.
The dice hate me today. There's nothing I can do to get to the AC. What was the AC?
Did I give it AC?
I don't
I don't
remember.
think I did.
I was too busy panicking.
I think the AC is going to be 10.
I don't have enough of anything to match that. So that's going to be a 3.
You hear her say, the ingredients of this, and kind of sounds like a ginger ale, like a homemade ginger ale. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. And now that you realize it, even though at the moment that you were sipping it, you couldn't taste anything, now all of a sudden you can feel like the ginger on your tongue and the slight acidity, and you're like, oh yeah, that was ginger, some sort of ginger drink. That makes sense. She stands up and expects you to stand up with her.
He does.
Feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll I can do this. I can be better.
I agree. I see great things happening for you, Juni, for us, here at the camp. She smiles.
I think Juni just nods, and she's just like, one last thing, like, am I like, it's like the healing, like am I back to normal? Like, am I normal, or like should I like be worried about like scar tissue? Because I already have asthma. Like, I really can't like have another like condition in the thorax. You know what I mean?
She kind of comes over to you and she actually like cups your face with her hands. Her hands are warm, and the feeling that you get is of, a mother like looking at her child. It's very warm and calming. And she just goes, "You are perfectly fine. Perfect in every way. You're going to do wondrous things."
Junie nods and like, oh, thanks, Mom. And then she like catches herself like in the same way like a student would be like, thanks, Mom, to their teacher.
Mhm.
She's just like, I'm sorry, Mrs. Thank you. And then she leaves the tent.
She watches you go and kind of stands at the entrance, her hands kind of right in front of her, and she kind of watches you leave with a small smile on her face, like a proud mom would as you leave her tent. Does anybody want to do anything before we end up for today's session?
Can I catch Junie outside of the nurses?
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably right before dinner, and I know you're gonna head to dinner after the nurse. So I'm stationed outside of her office, just like looking at the ground, waiting for you to come out.
I think when she comes out, she's like looking kind of like straightforward. I think you have to like kind of catch her attention.
Junie.
Yes. Hi, Ebb.
Hi.
Hi.
I have
You okay?
a question. I have a question.
Okay.
And her like bottom lip is like trembling a little, and she's like,
What's wrong?
now that you have like a bajillion friends, are you gonna hang out with us still?
And she immediately like takes Ebb into like a tight hug, and like she like, sways back and forth on like one leg on the other leg, and she's like, of course I am. You guys are my first friends at camp, and we share a tent together, which means we get to have sleepovers every night together and all that stuff. Of course I'm gonna keep hanging out with you guys.
Okay, good, because I'm weird, and I didn't know if you'd like the normal kids better, because maybe they're better, like your public school friends. So take this. It'd be really great if we could just keep hanging out.
You're weird? I didn't notice.
Oh, that's awesome. And she's like really happy about that. Also, I think we should go look for the Whistle Man sometime.
We should. Maybe not today. I think we need to sleep today. How about that?
That's fair. I'm really tired.
Yeah, and we don't want you ending up in a necklace again, do we?
No.
Okay. Let's go get something to eat.
Okay.
You all make your way to dinner. You sit down. Juni and Gia, do you guys make eye contact? What's this look like?
Galileo has strict orders to vibe check her and then tell me how she seems before I interact.
I think as soon as Juni walks up, she is immediately smiling at you and just like looks like herself. And she's like, I'm not mad at you. I think I was just upset at the camp. But honestly, I actually think this is good for me. Everybody dies at some point, and I guess here in camp, sometimes you're brought back. And I'm gonna get better at sword fighting. Can you teach me?
Yeah, but I can't promise I won't kill you again. Like, I'll try really, really hard not to kill you again.
Would prefer if you're gonna teach me that we practice with sticks.
I mean,
Non-magical sticks, preferably
yeah,
not at the edge of the woods.
I could teach you like form with sticks, but a big part of, I mean, phantom fencing is the phantom part, and I don't know how to transfer that into a stick.
I mean, or like you can just like teach me magic and stuff because you've been going to like a magic private school or whatever for like forever. So like I'm a newbie. So if you'll have me, you could like teach me that, like how to channel my energy from like into the sword and then back into me, and then hopefully we just won't team up for a fight again, and I can kill someone else.
Yeah, sure. If you
Great.
are you sure? You
Are
didn't
you
handle.
okay?
I mean, you didn't handle dying very well. How are you going to handle killing somebody? I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
it's more
not
fun.
that you handled dying badly. I mean, you didn't handle dying great, to be honest. But like, I understand why, and I'm not judging you for that.
Well, I guess I just kind of come to terms with the fact that it's not really me doing the killing, but instead it's the sword doing the killing that I really have no control over, because it doesn't make sense that, sometimes that some people are able to just like sword fight right away. And obviously it's the swords themselves who are doing the fighting. So it's not really like I'm doing the killing, but I would rather not die again because it's a little concerning. But I went to the nurse's office and she reassured me that everything is fine, everything is perfect. And yeah, I guess it was just a little jarring because, I already have like a lung condition. So I didn't want to also have a heart condition,
Yeah,
But it's going to be fine.
It's a fair concern. You do seem a lot happier after visiting the nurse. Did you get high again?
No. There were, in fact, the science class completely cleared out. So it's like really just the nurse's office again. And, she gave me a ginger ale that she made herself. And it was pretty good, honestly. Like the fresh ginger with like the molasses. And I don't understand how she made it clear because molasses is like a really dark color. But it tasted pretty good. And then we just talked. And so I guess she's like also a therapist, I guess. And I really feel like I can take on this camp.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can do it.
So you accepted a weird drink from the nurse, and now you feel a lot better.
It was a ginger ale.
And Gia kind of leans over to like Ebb and Hayden. It's like, now she's drunk.
No, just let her have this. Let her have this.
Okay, yeah. I'm so happy for you, Juni.
As you guys are talking about this, once again, Cinder pops up from underneath the table. Who's drunk?
No one.
Cinder.
I will let Cinder sit on my lap again.
She pops up. This time she doesn't have a plate of bacon. It's a plate of biscuits. And her and Belle is also sitting at the bottom underneath the table, just eating scraps. But in her right hand, she has this platter of biscuits, and in her left hand, she has a paper that's all crinkled up, but she kind of like puts her hand out for somebody to grab.
I don't think she'll grab it.
Okay, who's gonna grab it?
Yeah, I'm in a good mood.
She's a little drunk. She'll do it.
Yep.
All right. I put something in the Discord.
The Discord. She
hands her the thing to you, and she goes, "I found the thing. Miss Addie, who is the counselor over at the one thing," and she doesn't further explain that. She had the story and she wrote it down for me, and then I gave it to you just now. See?
So, Whistleman of the Forest. Interesting. Is this based on the thing that we saw in the woods.
Are you asking her that?
Yeah.
She's shoving a biscuit in her mouth. And she's like, and she kind of
Understood. I think Juniper does kind of hold this paper hostage. She says, I will read this if you all stop doubting me that the pill sponges are real.
Oh, okay. That. You know what? Fine. Your weird pill sponges are real. I believe you.
A little more conviction would be nice.
Oh my gosh, Juni, that's such a cool random thing that you have. I can't wait until I find some for myself.
I will take it. Can I read this? Can I read this thing?
Yeah, you can read it aloud. Do you want to read it?
Yeah. I think it'd be good for the viewers. I'm saying.
Go ahead.
So she reads it. She's like, the whistleman of the forest. It's said that deep in the woods where the trees grow so thick they block out the sun, there's a man who whistles. But not any normal tune, no. His whistle is sharp and eerie, like a cold wind cutting through the branches. They call him the Whistleman. Legend has it that he was once a lumberjack living in a small cabin near the edge of the forest. He spent his days felling trees until one evening, after a long day of work, he ventured too far into the woods. As night fell, he lost his way. He searched for hours, but no matter which direction he went, the forest seemed to close in around him. Exhausted and terrified, he heard something, a soft, eerie whistle. It echoed between the trees, drifting through the air like a haunting melody. He followed the sound, thinking it might lead him back to safety. But the further he walked, the louder the whistle became, until it felt as though it was coming from all directions at once. Suddenly, he realized he wasn't alone. There was something in the darkness watching him. The trees seemed to lean in closer, as if trying to whisper in his ear. He tried to run, but every step he took, the whistle grew louder, closer, and more insistent. By the time the sun rose, the lumberjack had vanished without a trace. Some say the whistleman took him. Others claim he was lost forever in the twisted heart of the forest. But the strange thing is, every year, as the nights grow longer, the whistle can be heard, drifting between the trees, drawing anyone who hears it deeper into the forest. Some say it's the spirit of the lumberjack, lost and calling for help. Others swear the whistleman himself still roams these woods, searching for new souls to claim. So, if you ever find yourself in the forest after dark and you hear a whistle, don't follow it, because the whistleman might just be waiting for you.
And with that, I think we shall end today's episode. Thank you all for listening. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.